It's a Wednesday and it's it's the first Wednesday of the month is what they say in English, and that means another dumb prediction day. So we will have a scalp opportunity, Julio. And other than that, I don't know. That's going to be the big event of the morning, and then of course then we start preparing for things like ISM services, start preparing for things like non-farm payrolls and all that kind of stuff. But we already went through the calendar on Monday. So I guess without further ado, let's just clean the place up and get to work, huh? So welcome to Forex.Today. I'm going to load the presentation or the disclaimer. Boom, there it is. Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results, but please always stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Hola. My name is Wayne McDonell. I'm the Chief FX Market Strategist. Swing on by, TradersWay.com. Try a demo, we won't let you down. Try a live account, you'll be impressed. We got great customer service, we execute the trades fast, our costs are low, and we're investing into your future success today at Forex.Today. Just a little look around the world here. Australian GDP, 6-quarter high. Oh, that ain't bad, huh? Best in a year and a half. That ain't bad. 3.0. It's funny, I've been predicting high GDP everywhere, right? And I'm like, I don't know about Australia. They didn't have the bad weather thing. But it doesn't matter. They still beat. I guess they're like, if everyone else is going to beat, we got to beat. So anyways, very nice. Oil inventories. I don't know if you caught this, but highest increase in oil inventories pretty much ever. 9.9 million barrels more oil in storage than before. Yesterday was Kiwi Day because of the bi-monthly Fonterra Global Dairy Auction. Prices were up 1.25%, or actually almost 1.5%. Last time it was down almost 3%, so now it's up 1.5%. First rise in 10 weeks. Will oil be, huh? Moody's threatened to downgrade China's ratings. Says they're stable, but they can give them a negative outlook. Anything else going on there? You know what? I'll take my face off and let you look at colors. Yep, Trump and Clinton. All right, fine. Not really a surprise, though, right? So, anyways, yen continues to weaken. We talked about that yesterday. I think I showed you 5 currency pairs with an outlook of up. You're welcome. So anyways, today we got another dumb prediction. It is Wednesday, so we get the Department of Energy oil inventories. Hey, did anyone catch the remittance yesterday? Mexican remittance? I didn't catch it. I forgot. I just totally, I've been sitting here so long. I like pinched a nerve in my back or something. Oh, it's hurting me so. So, anyways, yeah, for the peso, of course, the peso. I taught you guys how to make free money. Well, I can't say that, but I showed you how to trade the Mexican peso the first of the month. You guys forgot about that already? All right, so I miss a month and I'm a zero. But come on, guess surprised me. There's a video, Freddy boy. Quick review. Forget it. I'm not gonna show you how you could have made money if you paid attention yesterday. What's the point of that? Yeah, watch the video. So, anyways, some of us knew. Yeah, Freddy. Well, you got to catch up, boy. Right? I've been here 10 years. I ain't going any nowhere. So, anyways, so another dumb prediction. What do you want to trade with another dumb prediction? Probably Euro USD or something like that, right? I'm cool with that. Just a little review of yesterday. Check this out on oil. Oversold. Was that yesterday or last week? I'm sorry, that's last week. Just an interesting thing. It kicks off M2, which predicts M4. Look at that. Hit M4 and stopped. If it continues up this week, and I'm not saying it is, because it didn't make a. You actually want a pullback. We didn't really get the world's greatest pullback, but if you were just hardcore bullish on this, and that was that, and you were going to play the bottom here, then it's way above the M2, so you'd be thinking way up here, weekly R2, and you would be thinking 37, almost $38. That's plausible, but I'm a little worried it's a little too elevated. So sometimes what happens is we hit the R1 and drop to the S1. Okay, and that is resistance over here on oil. So we'll pay attention. Obviously, we'll see what happens, with the DOE stuff today. So check this out. What do you do when the Nikkei skyrockets up? Sell Japanese yen pairs. Oh, did you do it? Did you go yen crazy? One trade, 5 trades. What did you do? Cool. Well, good for you. Now, did you start with analysis of the Nikkei? How did you put that together? Were you just waiting around and threw a trade on the yens and it worked, or did you go through a step-by-step process? Cool. Anyway, sorry about the distractions. Got a lot of side projects going on. So yeah, so up, down, up, down, up, down. Very nice, very nice, very nice. More importantly, risk on, risk on. I guess you know what we should do is look at the S&P 500. Now, ADP comes out first. Another dumb prediction comes out first, and you know that is definitely going to affect the market. But you know, if we're trading currencies, let's say on a 5-minute chart, how do I teach you to trade? Well, price action, right? Higher high, what do you expect? Higher low, right? So it comes down, you buy it. Higher high, what do you expect? Higher low, right? Makes a higher high, what do you expect? Higher low, buy it, right? Higher high, so on and so forth. Now, this isn't a currency pair. This is the S&P 500, and it's not a 5-minute chart. It's a 4-hour chart. It's all the same technique. Remember, you can't predict the stock market. It's impossible. Roll. Can't do it. Impossible. So anyways, oops, don't need to do that. So we'll see what happens. The only concern, like if you're measuring the distance from here to here, it's quite high, right? See what happened when the distance was quite narrow? It collapsed even more, right? And I'm worried that it's topping out. I'm worried that it's overbought. I'm worried that it's at an R1. Okay? But worry isn't part of your strategy, is it? So what you should be doing is saying, well, I need to buy this again somewhere around the 21. I'm a bit worried though that it's really the 55 in control. See, here the 21's in control. Here the 21's in control. Here we're wiped out, you know, as far as the moving averages. And then we're trying again, and then once again it's a low moving average. So there's a reasonable possibility of this. And then there's always the reasonable chance of that because the 55 is in control, which is really, really, really slowing down. But fundamentals can change based on new information, right? A trend really is based on all known information. How about this happens today? Let me just throw it out there. ADP comes out. I'll just throw out a fabulous number: 262,000. Okay, and oil inventories comes out negative 1.7 million. What happens to the stock market? Right, so it is important, right? Is that all technical analysis? Right? No, so we got to be careful. If this comes out negative 262,000 and plus 1.7 million, then what happens? It's the end of the world as we know it. Okay, so obviously what happens today is going to be important, but what's your 4-hour here? The 4-hour, I am worried. My process of analysis starts here. Okay, And we are at resistance. Why? It's a resistance pivot point. So that's all. You have to at least acknowledge that. So next thing is, where are we on the daily? Woo-wee! Seems like a lot of exhaustion here. And what about this? Beep, 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 beep. Is that plausibly resistance on the daily? Uh-huh. How about that 200 EMA? Uh-huh. And if this just sneaks a little higher, right? Like if we do this, look at that monthly R1. Whoop, 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 whoop. Right? Shields up, red alert. Right? Hmm. Hmm. Hey, Freddy boy, you might want to check this out. Let me type it. Okay, so anyways, there's a lot of resistance up there on the higher time frame. I don't think that's going to be a free, easy to break. So let's put it this way. This is an R pivot. Okay, this is roll reversal resistance. What used to be support is now resistance. Okay, this is the weekly bullish target, right? So weekly resistance, monthly resistance, roll reversal, elevated, extended, so on and so forth. Like, wow. The only thing I think that could really bust us higher and get us way up to the next level, and the next level is way up here, as you can probably see. You know, that is, first of all, it's very unlikely. How often do you see that we blow through pivot points, right? Did we blow through the top or bottom here? No. Did we blow through the top bottom here? Oh, well, for a millisecond and then back up. Did we blow through the top or bottom here? No. Did we blow through the top? So why would we be like way up here? Well, you'd have to have like an unbelievably good, you know, let's say ADP is huge, ISM services is huge, non-farm payrolls is huge, and we're way up here on Friday. That sounds more like hope than a strategy, right? Yes, Kenny. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I know. I know. Bad coach. Bad coach. So, anyways, yeah. So, if we can maintain that for a while, then this may go up. Does it bother you that the Euro 50 is that weekly target? The DAX weekly target? FTSE pretty gosh darn close to weekly target. And then, right? So, like resistance, resistance, almost to resistance. Weekly R1 here on the Dow, weekly R1 on the S&P 500. These can go a little bit higher, right? But the higher they go, the less likely they'll continue. And as I showed you on the S&P 500 on the 4-hour, 55 seems to be in control. Look at the 4-hour on the Dow. 55 seems to be in control. Amazing, huh? Hey, who was it that wanted to meet up in Dubai? There's a few people. I'm going to move that trip to Easter. I figured people in Dubai are not taking Easter weekend off, are they? And then we're going to move the Johannesburg. We're going to move that to May. Just better golfing weather, you know. Well, Kenny, I'm going to be in Shenzhen April 16th. Why don't you swing by? Cool. All right. So, anyways, yeah, Johannesburg. I was going to do that uh, April weekend, but it's too much because everyone's obviously going to spend time with family. So we're going to move that to May, and then I'm going to in that place because I actually need to go to Dubai. I need to meet some people there, but I'm running out of time. I'm just so busy doing stuff. So I think I'm going to move that to Easter because I'll have that off from school anyways, and I'll have just finished midterms. So I can do that, and then maybe I can meet with some people and do some trading. I have some business I need to be doing there, and then so I'll do Dubai in Easter, and then I'll be in Shenzhen 2 weeks after that, and then a few weeks after that I'll do Johannesburg. Yeah. And then there's this idea floating around that I do something super unbelievably advanced for like a core group of people. That's an interesting idea, right? That's a really interesting idea. Lock you in a room for a week or two, and you either die or you come out a hardcore trader. I don't really know which. It doesn't even matter to me. Yeah, Eric, it probably wouldn't be cheap, eh, Eric? But that wouldn't that be interesting? That's it. You don't leave the room until you're a profitable trader. And if I run out of time, if it takes a week or 10 days, fine. If it still hasn't happened after that, I just push you out the window. And I'm like, oh well, that didn't work out. So like, no refunds, boom. I don't know. So, anyways, lots of ideas floating around. Lots of great ideas, lots of fun. No time. All right. So, anyways, Euro Yen. Okay. Is that a change of direction? Typical thing. You look for double bottoms with higher highs, right? Because what it looks like previous to this is something like that, and then what happens after to this is something like this, right? So one thing that you can look for in your analysis is that, right? Most important thing is the double bottom, and then this high and this high, right? You see the higher high. So then what you do is you go boop 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 boop, like I just showed you on the stock market 4 hour chart. You're looking for this kind of stuff. Is it going to be exactly here? No, it might be just before, it might be just below. It doesn't really matter. I'm just like, what I'm thinking is higher high, higher low. Get ready. Okay. So on a little micro level here, right, little double bottom. And what stands out is this higher, right? So what you end up thinking is something like this. Boo, 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 boo. Not quite, right? Not quite there. Close, right? Probably a 3A2, but whatever. Obviously something happened. Oops. But the most important part of this whole process is that you're ready for that. So there you go. Okay. You can play it different ways here, depending on the time frame you're looking at. Is this the high? Maybe. Is this the high? Maybe. Right? Because you imagine if you were on the 1 hour, you'd be playing the higher high. Okay? Doesn't really matter, really. Right? One way or the other, there was a pullback. Oops, come on now, drawing tool. Come on now. Right? And just like the other chart, it is a higher high. I'm a little worried that it's not much of a higher high. All right? Because at some point, maybe it's just wimping out. So again, 55 seems to be in control. 55, you need to be worried about stuff like that. So cool. Did anybody like the idea of being locked in a room for like a week with laptops and like 5 other people? Yeah, are you willing to pay money for it? You and me at the Ritz-Carlton for a week? No, but yeah, that was the idea that was passed on to me. Sort of almost like a mentorship, but just hardcore, you know. So I don't know. It's always a thought. It's just we were talking about this. I think I was talking about it yesterday in the video. I don't really take vacations. I've never. I did have a honeymoon, which was apparently 11 years ago. Wow, what's the date today? Oh boy, I guess I need to buy flowers. But I don't really vacation. I don't even really like them. I don't even get it. Right, right. So that would be fun for me. Seriously, that would be totally fun for me. Locked in a room with 5 or 6 other seriously dedicated people. I want to go somewhere nice. I want to have nice meals. I want to, see a little bit of the world, but I also want to leave knowing that that there was a difference made too, that there was a point, versus sitting around the swimming pool for a week. What the hell would that do? Or how about this? Here's a good use of my time. Maybe I should fly to Paris with my family and stand in line to get in a museum, right? Daddy, we've been in line for 2 hours. Shut up, you ungrateful little kid. I want to show you the Mona Lisa. I don't even know what the Mona Lisa is. I want an ice cream. Shut up. You're worse than your mother sometimes. Go, dang it. Yeah, I mean, like, seriously, right? That's what I want to do with my free time? All right, so let's take a look at Kiwi. Yeah, everyone's been there, done that, overrated, huh? Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? So, like, okay, fine. So, where are we in this process? Is it up or is it down? Well, it's neither, right? Little scary. And this kind of stuff that I showed you, in fact, we did talk about it, sort of the end of January. I don't even, what is it, March now? I told you that we can have this possibility with the yen pairs. Let me redraw this here. I just want to remind you that January I said the yen pairs would come down and yen would be strong, and then that we would have this sort of fade where the yen's weakened for a while, and then March the yen would strengthen, right? and then it would head up, back up, and then we would move sideways for all summer, basically, right? Right? We're all good with that. And I don't know, is that developing? Let's see. Down January, up February. Down for almost. So now we're by the end of March or by the end of February, we're in here, and we could be in a mode like this for a very long time. Unless something changes, right? And things, when do things change? Maybe June, maybe Sep or Oct, right? Right? And what month before June can something maybe happen? Mar. By the way, these are the codes for futures contracts. So, anyways, what's going on this month? Anything interesting? Fundamentally speaking, where maybe Mar produces something? ECB, Fed. Okay. Do you know the dates for these guys? Okay. 10, 16. How about this one? Boop, 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 boop. BOJ could possibly do a little tinkering of more negative interest rates, which sounds like nothing. And then they could do more QE. What date is that? What? Say what? It's right in there. They squeeze it right in between. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, I totally missed that too. Cool. Interesting, huh? So what do you think? Powerhouse week there? So if one or all or some of these guys do something, all right, well then maybe we get a breakout. My guess is no, they're going to, even though it's completely necessary, they're not going to do it. Bank of Japan, no, they're not going to do it. And Fed, no. But if they did, it could impact things. If they didn't, that would also impact things, right? So then if they don't do it in March, then you say, well, maybe June. And we play that game for a while, right? So you're like, okay, so down in March. Oh, up in May, getting ready for June. June, nothing happens. Boom, right? This idea of front run disappointment, front run disappointment, front run disappointment. We do that for a while, huh? Just don't freak out if that happens. It's the end of the world as we know it. So let's get ready for what do you want to do? Euro dollar? Pound dollar's killing it right now. Well, hang on. Hang on. Hang on. I got to get my trade the news. TradeTheNews.com. Yeah, that earthquake in Sumatra, 8.2. That's a big earthquake. Holy smokes. Euro USD. What else could do? Pound is just killing it. Okay, British pound versus US dollar 1 minute chart. Right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Right? Some of these you might not have taken as second chances, but higher high, higher low. Right?
The employment report for the month of February, we're looking for 190,000. Prior was 205,000. We'll get you the revision as soon as possible as well.
Well, they just downgraded it to 7.9. It was 8.2. Now it's 7.9, so they just already downgraded it. A 1,000 kilometers from Indonesia. So, wow, it's not that close.
Says is this for 190,000?
We're right on the 4-hour 55.
15,000 a beat there for ADP. 214,000 above the 190,000 expected.
Small business 76,000, medium business plus 62,000, large businesses plus 76,000. We saw a decline in manufacturing, minus 9,000 for manufacturing, plus 27,000 construction. Seeing the dollar rally and bond market sell off slightly here, following the better than expected headline non-farm payrolls. Prior non-farm payrolls revised slightly lower to 193,000 from 205,000. ADP employment report is out. It's ahead of Friday's non-farm payrolls and jobless report. Gold futures have backed off a little bit from the earlier gains following the ADP employment report as well.
There's a little bit of junk in our way here. I'm looking at the daily chart, though. Daily chart's fine. It's clear. It's free and clear to about 50, what is it, 16 and a half? So, so you see this way up here. This guy's talking, but the guy in my headset's telling me what this guy is saying. Thank you, Trade the News. And of course, we got the news probably 20 seconds faster than CNBC reported it. So thank you, TradeTheNews.com. So that's a pretty big number, eh? So kicking off the midpoint psych here, you need to decide, are you going to buy it off this, or are you treating it like a scalp? Okay, a scalp's going to say, look, that is support, and the number was good, right? You would take a shot like this, you put your stop down here, and you're risking, 20 pips maybe, something like that. That's how you play it. Oh, and it's already gone. Sorry, you snooze, you lose. Baltic Dry Index up almost 1%, 335. That's just ridiculous. How could it be 335 up 1%? That is just so shocking. That's a good number. Wow. What a world we live in. On hell, you're waiting for a 30-minute breakout? Wow. So what do? You just OCO that? And what's the logic of that? Hmm? So, like, for example, do we have news at 8:30? There's a little bit of news at 8:45, and then there's another one at 10, right? So, to me, that seems a little dangerous. Not dangerous, mechanical. Boop, 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 boop. Right? So, when I'm scalping a news event, you guys have seen me do this a million times on non-farm payrolls, which I will do on Friday. At this point, it's even though it's only been a few minutes, I would still move my stop, at least closer. Okay. And then if it continues up, then you move your stop to break even. So the general idea on high volatility event driven strategies is, usually within 4 or 5 minutes, the stop's at break even. Do 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 do. Let's zoom in a little bit here. Not quite a weekly pivot. Do I have monthlies on here? I don't see the monthlies. Boop. Well, let's throw the cluster then. Let's do that. Let's cluster this. Huh, it's not really one or the other. Again, I guess you got to play it like a fib then. Okay. So I looked at first and I didn't see any pivots. So I'm thinking people are not playing the pivots. Then I do a fib study and it is exactly to the pip the 618 Fibonacci retracement. Are they using pivot points or are they using fibs? Now this 121.4 up there, I am the only person in the world that uses it because I'm self-taught and I made a mistake in figuring out how to use Fibonacci. So I did that, and what I did was I subtracted 786 from 100 and got 21.4 and added that to 100 and got 121.4. But fib people use like 127 or something like that. I don't know where that comes from. Okay. So anyways, the 618 predicts a 1382. That gets us up to weekly R1, monthly central pivot point. Almost too perfect. You are not alone. Oh, really? On Hell says 127 comes from harmonics? That's interesting. That's how I got it. I just looked at it. I'm like, what's the relationship between 382 and 618? And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're the same thing. Right? They're the same thing. If you draw a 382 upside down, it's a 618, and you draw a 618 upside down, it's a 382. So I'm like, oh, it's the same thing. So what does a 786 predict? A 121.4, but because it's the same thing, right? So I don't know. That's how I came up with it. Would I consider buying yen? Oh, I see. To sell this sucker? Because of that, all right, let's do it this way. Let me answer it in a way that I would say yes. I would be more interested in buying yen after something like this has occurred. Okay. So if we were up here and then came around like this, and more importantly, price was at resistance, then yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now, what we talked about yesterday was there were about 3 or 4 or 5 different things that said the yens were going to go up today. My caution was at the back of my mind somewhere, I've seen very often Japanese yen get strong in March due to repatriation flows when Japanese businesses decide to bring money back to Japan before the fiscal year end, which is April 1st. So even if they all say up, I have the fundamental, if they all say if they all technically say up, in the back of my mind I say, well, is the director of finance for Mitsubishi, is he looking at your oscillator? No. Right? He's like, I got to get this money home before taxes. Right? That kind of thing. Okay? So that bothers me. And so that, you have to always have that in mind. Would that problem affect me in April? No. So it's a very seasonality based thing. But let's say we were at something like up here, or 115 is the monthly central. That's fair game, although we've already played that, okay, and produced a double bottom. So the double bottom suggests we will make a higher high and then maybe roll over, okay, until, first or second week of April. And if this was elevated and then rolling over about here, yeah. So would I short it at 115? I think it could go a little higher, maybe. But if it up in here, yeah, I'd start paying attention. Monthly R1 way up here. So what is this? 117. The other one is 119. You know, and then I have this elevated rolling over. I'd say, do I have resistance? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Is the oscillator overbought and dropping? Right. So we'll call that oscillator check. Okay. Drop into a smaller time frame. Reversal pattern. Do I have that? And if the answer is check, I pull the trigger, drop the stop, and take a walk. Okay. Bruno says 116. Man, I don't see. Yeah, maybe, right? So we got this stuff going on at 116. And okay, we'll see when we get there, right? So one piece of advice that I have for you when it comes to USD yen, play the big Sykes. Big, right? Sykes. Worst English word ever, right? Play the big Sykes. So really, if you were a bear and you wanted to buy Japanese yen versus the dollar or any other pair like euro yen, for example, you would. So we're looking at USD yen. So really, I'm going to look at 115. I'm going to look at 116. I'm going to look at 117. I'm going to look at 118, and I'm going to look at 119. And I'm going to watch. And as soon as this gets overbought, I'm going to be very keen at any one of those levels to look for reversal patterns. So if this goes up, down, I'm buying Japanese yen. Or at least I have permission to. I don't care which one it happens at because I'm not in control. It doesn't matter to me. But my job is, if you think it should be going down, you identify resistance, look for conditions of reversals, and then look for patterns of reversals on smaller time frames. Take the shot, drop a stop, take a walk. Right? Oh, why am I long Euro USD? I'm testing some counter trend algos. Yeah, counter trend strategies. Just, it's my play account. Right? The play account, I think, was up 15%, and then in the last 2 days of the month, dropped significant amount of profit, and I think we ended up more like 10% for the month. Well, so I only made 10%. I was pretty pissed off. But, I'm a trend trader, so I hate it. Right? Right? I hate counter trend trading. I hate it. I hate it. That's why I'm doing it. How could I be a master if I paint myself in the corner and say, "Oh, I only do this"? I'd be stuck on a Euro USD 15-minute chart if I never challenged myself to learn new things. Right? So, yeah, so I'm exploring and growing as a person, right? No, if I do hate one thing, like seriously hate it, is grids. I think it's the worst, stupidest, dumbest thing. Unfortunately, it's also the best thing to attract stupid, dumb investors that um, don't know what they're doing. Because the results look great, but in fact, you're taking huge risks. So yeah, forget that. That's how I feel. So forget it. All right. Let's see. Let's go to USD Kitty CAD. Cause I'm sorry, you're a big fat crybaby. All right, here we go. 1 hour chart, USD Kitty CAD. Are you going to sell this at 136? You have to decide now. By 136, okay, really, what I mean is, or is that 135? I'm sorry, 135. What I mean is 134.80 to one. Come on, mousy mouse. To 135.20. That's what I mean. That's your zone, baby. Okay. The best, most favorable place for me, for you, for me, for you, is the 80 to 00 mark. Wow, that NASA astronaut just returned from space after a 1 year mission. No joke, that guy was in space for a year. He came down to vote for Hillary. Did she win? Did she win? I can't even use my mouse. I'm laughing so much. It's funny. Stop it, Wayne. Stop it. All right. So for me, for you, the sell zone starts here. Most ideal is yellow. Right. And less ideal is sort of in here. And as a trend trader, okay, what we're thinking is down, up, down, up, down, right? So that maybe this goes up and then down. Now, begs the question, what is that little gray zone? Boom, 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 boom. Okay. The funny thing is, and it's really funny, we did this a long time ago. So, am I the only person in the world that sees that? No, not likely. And look at that move. 133.80 It's the opposite what I just showed you. Right? But what somebody said is somewhere around 34 to 33.80 we want to buy. But also, if you take this farther back, you know, a month ago, we knew this was a buy zone, potentially. So how do you play this, Wayne? I'll say, well, that's a really good question. Let me tell you what I think. I'm not a bull unless it does this. And if it's a bull, we might have to play the idea of high-low off of this giant support area going back a bajillion years. Okay? You get it? Oh, this one up here, that's CNBC, and this is Bloomberg, but Bloomberg's not working right now. I don't know why. Bad day for Bloomberg. You know, somewhere there's an Indian IT guy being yelled at. Right? You get that working or I send you back to Pakistan. I don't want to go back to Pakistan. Get it working. Right? I'll cancel your H1. No! Right? So anyways, there's a fight going on somewhere. Yeah, the page is loading, but not the video, so I don't know. Whatever. Wayne, why do you think we will break support? When did I say that? So what we have now is technical analysis, right? What we have here is a failure to communicate. No, I didn't say that. But what's going to happen first? Has this reversed? No, not on this time frame. Is this the right place for it to reverse? Yeah. Are you playing this on a 15-minute chart, a 5-minute chart or something? Okay, well, yeah, then you could be long and strong. Doesn't matter. As a technical analyst, you have to recognize that this is resistance, first and foremost. Second and foremost, that this is a downtrend. That's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's all by definition on this time frame. Okay? Is it ready to go up? Yes. Is it at the right place to go up? Yes. So if you're a bull, you need to be on a smaller time frame. You understand? You need to be on a smaller time frame, and you probably wouldn't have a downtrend. But even if you're on a smaller time frame, you're going to come up to our resistance area in this area, and it will respect it. Mark my words, it will respect it. Do we know if it's going to go down? No. It could just go whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, that's fine. And then this would have taken form. But what I'm suggesting on this time frame, you are not a bull on this time frame until we break the high and create a new higher high. Maybe it'll be off that 55, which will predict a higher low or a double bottom. And then we head up. And I'm long here. Oops. Let's do it this way. I'm long here. Okay? Smaller time frame, I might be long here, but then I got to jam my stop and I'm praying because I'm counter trend trading. I'm praying, but I don't like to be in that situation. Okay? So on this time frame, you have to at least respect this resistance area. And because the prevailing trend on this time frame is down, there's a reasonable likelihood or probability that it continues down. One of them being the 21's in control. So I'm sort of obligated to take a shot. Am I worried about this? Yeah. Sure, fine. Well, then, there's always something. Man up, right? What about fundamentals? What about fundamentals? What if oil goes up? Risk on could be good for Canadian dollar. You don't like trading against the USD, then don't trade against the USD. Go long CAD yen. You could say, well, if CAD's strong, that's got to be positive for global macroeconomics. So that's probably risk on. So I'll buy CAD and fund it with yen. Fine. Good. Fine. Good. Then make the decision, really? And it's probably a better decision. But my point is, I don't really care what you do. I want you to make a logical, intelligent decision well before you pull the trigger. Too many people sit down and like, I need to find a trade. Wrong, you just lost. Why do you do it that way? What you're doing is you're taking a long time to lose all your money, and you're just wasting time. Here's a story I told a long time ago. I said, look, if you've decided to trade that way, what'll happen is you'll lose money, and your buddies will tell you, and they're like, hey, how's that Forex thing going? You're like, oh, it's not really for me. I'm going to take an options course. I think the secret is options. Risk, so much better risk. Right? Oh, I just straddle things and I can't lose money. Right? And you're too embarrassed to tell somebody that you lost all your money because you're just not willing to do the work. You just sit down at your charts. Oh, I wonder where the trades are going. Oh, I guess I should buy euro now. Boom! Oh, look at that. Half the time I win, half the time I lose. My losers are bigger than winners, and it just took you 9 months to lose all your money. Well, that was fun. It's like a hobby. It's like video games, right? Put a quarter in. Eventually, you got to lose your quarter. Right? So I said, well, what if you're going to do that and you're going to be ashamed and you're not even going to be able to tell your buddies that you lost 10,000 in cash, I said, well, why don't you have something that you guys can always remember and share and laugh about? I said, invite all your friends over to your house. Right? Get everybody over. Everyone's got a drink, some nice food, some music's going on. And then right at, like, let's say 10 p.m., you're like, hey, everybody come outside. It's the big event of the day. And everyone's outside, and you're like, well, hey, Wayne's got his fire pit going. Got a couple Duraflames in there, nice, hot, right? And you're like, all right, event of the evening, dun, 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 dun. You walk in, and you got this gym bag full of 10,000 in cash, and you proceed to burn it while everybody watches. And they're like, oh, you're so crazy. And you're throwing it in there, and they're high-fiving and toasting. And you're like, wow, this is the greatest party ever. Look at him. He's like burning 10,000 in cash. And they'll remember you. 12 years later, you'll see your old buddy. You haven't seen him since the party. And he's like, oh, man, I'll never forget that time. You came out in the backyard. We're having champagne and stuff. And you burned $10,000 in cash. You're crazy. You're a crazy mofo. I liked you. You're crazy. Right? And you'll laugh about it. High five. And you're like, yeah, man, I just like to party. That's how I roll, man. And everyone will love you for it. They'll just say, wow, I'll never forget that. Never forget it. That was so funny. You're just crazy. Versus walking around all ashamed, or like, yeah, I don't really plan my trades, and I kind of wing it, and I threw down some things, and yeah, I was up for a while, and then I was down for a while, and then, well, and guess what? Your options trading is not going to go any better, right? Because we're not talking about strategy here. We're not talking about tactics here. We're just talking about that you're not putting in the work. Sitting down looking for a trade is the first thing, the first sign that you're about to lose money. What's it doing now? Oh, 3 green candles in a row. I think I should buy it right at resistance. Right? I mean, you should stand up and fight. Say, no, I don't trade that way, you son of a gun. Right? Right? Sit up and fight, for crying out loud. Here, right? Hey, look at all those green candles. I think I'll buy it. Right? Doesn't that look good? Don't you just want to buy that? You know it's going to come down. right? It's coming down. You just know it. Whoop, whoop, whoop. 618 of yesterday's trading range. Now, where did Uncle Wayne tell you it was most likely going to fall? Between 80 and 00. Am I right, or am I making that up? Remember I highlighted it in yellow? So, it's behavior we need to change. I'll lock you in the room and I'll drill this into you. I also had this idea years ago that if you work for me and I had a trading floor in my office and you're trading for me, on my team, that if you had an unacceptable drawdown based on stupid trading, I would make you wear the suit of shame. And it would be a jumpsuit like a pilot wears, right? A pilot type suit where it's got the full body zip and you put your feet in and pull it up and zip it up. And I would make you wear that for at least a week. You'd walk around the office every single day. You got your nice tie on underneath and everything, and you're wearing the suit of shame. And nobody needs to say anything. They know you've done some stupid trading and that you lack discipline. And that you will be shamed like a scarlet letter into trading properly. Because people can lose money and they're like, yeah, I lost money. But 95% of traders lose money in Forex. It's a tough gig. Right? It's a tough gig. People accept losing money. Oh, I put $5,000 in. If I don't blow that up, then I'll be a currency trader. But when they put the money in, they expect to blow it up. So it's okay to blow it up, right? Think of the psychology of it. Well, I'll put $5,000 in, but if I blow that account up, then I'll try something different. You just said you're accepting the $5,000. What if you said, I'm going to put $5,000 in a trading account, and if I blow it up, I'm going to jump off of a bridge? Would you take it a little more seriously? Right? I'm not saying you should jump off a bridge. But I've told you that you need to sit down with your spouse and explain to your spouse what you're doing. And you need your spouse's support, emotionally and spiritually. And then you say to her, let's say in that case, you say, honey, it is my goal to be a professional Forex trader. I am working on discipline. And when I have a losing week, or even more importantly, I trade poorly, where I find I'm chasing price or I'm letting my losers run, when I find hope is a strategy, I am going to sleep in the bathtub. And it's going to be painful and uncomfortable for me. But I need your support in this, and I'm going to do it. And what will happen is, eventually you will sleep in the bathtub, and it will be horrible. Not only will it be incredibly painful and uncomfortable, but your wife and maybe your children will know, like, where's Daddy? Oh, he's in the bathtub again. Dad? Seriously? That's the third time this month. And you're like, yeah, I know I'm not going to do it again. I know. And you change. You rewire your brain. You will become disciplined. Because lacking discipline will be too painful. Losing money is easy. Who cares? And you're like, oh, well, I put the $5,000 in the account and I lost it, but now I got this great options course, and I'm going to learn how to straddle the market, and I'm going to. This is an iron condor. The iron condor is going to save me, right? So imagine now we're in a hotel for a week, and I made you wear the suit of shame. Don't, right? I'm like, don't you bring that lazy, undisciplined trading into this room. Wear the suit of shame. Right? What kind of trading's that? Give me your hotel room key. Right? You're going to sleep. You're going to sleep by the swimming pool, man. Yeah, you're going to sleep in the lobby. Give me your room key, dude. No! You're kicked out. You're spending the night in the lobby. Right? That kind of stuff. Who knows? I will break you. All right, so we're getting closer and closer to the zone. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And let me remind you, no matter what happens, so I don't know what's going to happen, right? Does it do this? I don't know. Is the probability of failure, let's say as a bull, let's say you're a bull, is the probability of failure greater when you're buying at 85 to 95? Right? What's the probability it does come down, at least down to this area, which is 30 or 40 pips. And we know, at least in the past, some research was done, and something like 85% of all stops are within 30 pips, which means if your stop's 40 pips away, you will be knocked out. Statistically speaking, you will be knocked out. You're not going to hang on, right? So do you buy at 90? No. Do you buy down here at 50 or 60 and then slingshot up? Yes. That's called patience, because that takes 2 hours to wait. And you're like, I'm missing it. But you're a disciplined son of a gun. You're made out of steel. You're the Iceman. Or lady. You're the White Witch. The White Witch of Forex. Right? Yeah, wizard, Grandaf. Yeah, that's what it takes. I probably have some sort of trading rules in my book, but I've never read my book, so I think there's something in there. Yeah, Russ. I do. Let's see. No, that's no. Yes, no. Yes, this one. No. Yeah, it'll be on Forex.Today. It usually takes me about an hour. Oh, and look at the time, man. We've really gone long. So, I don't know. Yeah, so anyways, hopefully today was good. Nice little scalp. Right? Lots of volatility, up, down, turn around, that kind of stuff. But like I said, I'm going to move my Dubai trip to the last weekend of March. If anyone's in Dubai, we could do one of those things where I lock you in a room for a day and then take you out for lunch. The last time I was there and I did that, we had a 3 or 4 course lunch on the top of one of the skyscrapers in Dubai, and Uncle Wayne paid. But yeah, so if you want to do something like that, and then I'm going to be in Shenzhen, April 16th. I booked my plane. I'm staying an extra day after that, so if you guys want to do a seminar or something like that, if not, I'll just go see the sites. And then, and then Johannesburg out in May. And that's going to be, I think, pretty serious. I think we're going to do 1 full day or maybe 2 days, or I don't know. Maybe both. But I break you. I will break you. You will give me the pips or I'll cut off a finger. So anyways, peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. Love that little red candle, huh? See you tomorrow, huh? Yeah, sleep in the dumpster. The opposite of that, I used to manage a team of about 300 people. And one of the things I used to do in training is we used to do stuff like that. You know, literally, I've made people. It used to be sleep in your car, and then one guy almost froze to death, and so our lawyer said, "Don't make him sleep in the car anymore." I'm like, "How about the bathtub?" "Yeah, bathtub's okay." And how about? And then one guy said, "Well, I don't actually have a bathtub. I live in a studio apartment. It costs $2 million, and there's no bathtub. There's only a shower." I'm like, "Oh, do you have tile floors in the kitchen?" "Yes." "All right, sleep on the floor in your kitchen." But the opposite's true, and some people don't take this right, but here's something that I used to do. I said, pick out a dream car. Not like a Bugatti, $3 million car, but, something significantly nicer than what you got. Go like, $100,000 Mercedes or something, right? And some people don't like this because they're like, "Wayne, you're so superficial, and life's more than a car." Well, okay, shut your mouth. Something that is reasonably obtainable, something that money can buy, even if you have to lease it, whatever, it's attainable. But you do use it. It is a functional thing. There's also a bit of a social status to a nice car. But if you're trying to change your life and you're trying to like measure an obvious real change, that is something reasonably obtainable. Buying a mansion's a little more difficult. Going from broke to having a jet plane is a bit of a leap of faith, right? But a Mercedes or something is obtainable. But there's something more than that, because I work on, these are like parts of neuro-linguistic programming. I'm working on reprogramming your brain. And there's something very interesting about this process. So what I would have to do with these guys, I'd say, okay, pick out whatever your dream car is, whatever it is, doesn't matter to me. Dress up nice, look like $1 million. If you can, put on a nice suit and tie, walk into the car dealership on a Saturday, and go check it out. And first of all, I want you to get a brochure. Make the salesman sign the brochure. I want a signature on it. Okay? And I want you to go there, and I want you to seriously shop for it. I want you to talk to the salesperson. I want you to sit in the car. I want you to check out different colors. But when you sit in the car, let's say it's on a warm day, you get in that car and it's been in the sun for 6 hours. You get in, it's hot, and you can smell the leather. And I want you to put your hand on the wooden steering wheel, and it's hot, and you feel it in your hands, and you smell it. You can smell the leather and that new car smell, and you're looking at it, and wow, the stitching on this is nice, and leather on the dashboard, and the screen is so nice, and you're looking at the colors, and you're like, "Oh man, do you have this in blue? Do you like the blue sand combination?" You're like, "Oh, we have that. Sweet. Oh, I need a darker blue, like in the day it's blue, but at night it's black. Do you have something like that?" "Yeah, let's go look at it." And then I want you to sit down and like negotiate it. Right? Negotiate and get down to a reasonable price so that you know the actual number. And now you have the brochure, and then I want you to, meanwhile you're drinking their, espresso drinks and all that kind of stuff. And then you come home and you have something that's in your brain now. It was more of an experience. You're not just like, "Oh, I wish I had, a Porsche." Now you've actually been in it, you've sat in it, maybe you've test driven it. You know what it costs, and it's very real. And while you're there, you feel like you own it or you deserve it, and you look like the part because you've dressed up. And they're like, "There is a successful person. I'm going to sell this guy a Porsche." Right? And you walk in, you're like, I deserve this Porsche. Now, you don't really, right? Because they haven't earned it. But there's a part of the process of that you'll need to visualize. And then when you're going through tough times, what do you think about? Do you think about losing money? Or do you think about how you felt when you walked in and you looked like $1 million and everyone thought you were worth $1 million? And you can almost sense it that with the effort and the focus and the discipline and the dedication and the sacrifice that perhaps that is your path, and you will have that type of an experience every day. You will own that Porsche or that Mercedes or whatever it is, whatever a reasonable, attainable, but still difficult goal. What's going to get you up in the middle of the night? What's going to make you do your homework on Sunday instead of barbecuing with your friends? What is it going to take to get you to the next level? And having a real, obtainable, specific, measurable a goal is very important. Then you put that behind a business plan of, here's the things I need to do today, here's the things I need to do this week, here are the things I need to do this month, and if I can do this and I can keep this trend going, then over a reasonable period of time, you will actually then deserve that car. And if you wimp out, you don't deserve it, forget it, don't worry about it. That's not your car, it's for other people than you. Right? Do you do the work, or do you just want the car? Well, people that want the car, they don't deserve it, they don't get it. Doesn't matter. And then all of a sudden, like, if you can do the first thing, like, what's going to get you working on your strategies over the weekend? If you start doing that kind of stuff early, I mean, the car is pathetic. It's a pathetic goal. I mean, and there will be one day when you look back and you're like, that was pretty pathetic, but that's where it all began. Okay? But you need to rewire your brain. And in that experience, it's a bit of embarrassing knowing that you can't afford that car, and you know it, and you're going into the showroom. You've dressed up, but you had to get your suit laundered, and you had to buy a new tie, and you got a haircut, and then you went in there and you played the role, and you went through and you smelled the leather and the new car smell, and you touched the hot steering wheel, and you looked at 3 or 4 cars, and you talked to the guy for 2, 3, 4 hours, and all of this is going into reprogramming your brain. You skip that, good luck. Right? By the way, look at it drop. It did drop right off that mark, and it did come down to the role reversal. You see that? Beautiful. It's that easy, guys, if you're patient and disciplined. But the problem is, how do you take everything you've ever learned previous in life, harness the good things, get rid of the bad things, and become a hardcore disciplined trader? By being hardcore and disciplined. So all you have to do is reprogram your brain. It's that easy. See you tomorrow, guys. Thanks for being on my team.